In this video, we will see how to use the Dji Osmo Action 3 camera. Let's do this. By the way, this video is chaptered, so if I ever talk about something you don't need to know, see in the timeline and skip to the next chapter. So, let's start with the physical things of the camera. That is the Dji Osmo Action 3. What do we got over here? On top, we've got the record button, so you just hit the button and it record. On the side, just right here, we have, it's not a microphone, it's a speaker. And on the side over here, we've got the quick select button. We will see the use of it a bit later. You've got the door just right here that can open to reveal that USB-C connection. It can be used to recharge your camera, so you connect it and it recharges, or you can remove the door and connect something into it, like that DJI mic. You open that, you've got that clip mic that you can attach on yourself, just like that, or there's many ways to attach it. And you've got this transmitter, in fact it's a receiver, and you see there is that USB-C connection. So if I set that guy into here, I can connecting it to the camera just like that. And now instead of taking the internal audio of the camera, it will take this one. So that's one of the use you can do with the USB connection. When it's time to put back the door, you just align it over here and push. Oops. Just push it like that and reinsert it that way. We've got another door on the other side. It's the same principle. You press on the arrow and you push into the arrow direction. Inside here, let's shut down the camera. I shut it down with the, you see it's the power button and the quick select. So if I press and hold it, it will power off the camera. So what do we have here? Well, here it's the same principle. You can remove the door if you'd like. You got the battery that you can replace. And you also got the micro SD card that you can remove over here. And let's put back that door. Just like that. On the front, you've got another touchscreen, and you've got that lens cover that you can unscrew if you break it, or if you want to replace it for another type with the ND filter, you can remove it and put another one. Just make sure you tight it very, very hard when you put it back in place to make sure it is still waterproof, sealed. Really hard. All right. And then over here you got two microphones, and there's a third microphone just underneath that place. And the thing that is just right here is the temperature color sensor. I've just read it in the manual. I didn't know what it was used before. And then underneath here, you've got that quick attachment system. That guy. So you can just put the camera very quickly like that and remove it as fast. The idea with this one is that you screw it on the part that you will use the most. If you use many of them, you can purchase another one and many other one, and you just put the camera quickly on it. When I do it while not filming myself, it is even quicker. So now that we have seen the physical aspect of the camera, let's see how to use it. So the camera is actually turned off. If I want to turn it on, I can press the power button, or usually when you turn on your camera, it's because you want to film something. You can press the record button that is called, when the camera is off, the snapshot button. So I program it to be recording. So if I press it just like that, it will start a recording in very few seconds. So turn on, start the recording, and now it's recording. Actually, it doesn't make any sound because I think I put it on mute mode. We will see that a bit later. And a great thing about this, the quick shot button, if you want to keep your camera into your pocket and just take it out, film something quick, put it back into your pocket, you just have to stop recording and do nothing. You will have 3 seconds to press the touchscreen if you don't want the camera to go off. Let's do it. I press it. I've got 3 seconds. Press, and it was not on mute. I don't know why it didn't make sound when it turned on, but as you can see, I did press and it's now on. If I didn't press it, it would have go off. And now if I start another recording and stop it, because the camera was already on, it will stay on. That was the video mode. If you want to change mode, you can swipe from left to right. See, I've got photo, HDR video, slow motion, hyper-lapse, and each mode does have a lot of options. So for example, here in hyper-lapse, I can swipe up, change it to time-lapse. By the way, the difference between a time-lapse and an hyper-lapse is that the time-lapse is static. So you set your camera on a tripod, you film something for a few minutes or hours, and it go and accelerate it. When you go in hyper-lapse, it's also the principle of accelerated things, but the hyper-lapse is in movement. So when you're walking or driving, something like that, you go into hyper-lapse mode. Here we've got some other options, sunset and those things. We've got the same principle if I go, for example, in video mode. Here I've got the resolution, the frame rate, I've got the stabilization settings over here, and we've got another option. So this is an option we've got by swiping up, and the other option that we usually found are on the right, just right here. We've got the exposure, white balance, the field of view, the colors, and those kind of things. There is a menu for every mode that there is in the camera, which is video, photo, and all of those modes. I will not go in deep detail into all of those modes. If you want to deep dive into it, I did a video for each mode. They will be on the upper right corner or in the description if you want to see it just right now or after the video. I really deep dive in all the settings you can find into the photo mode, the video mode, and the time-lapse mode. It's worth it if you want to play with it. In this video, I want to stick to how to use the camera. Once you have recorded something, you can play back with the play button just right here that look like the YouTube logo. So I've got what I've just recorded. You can swipe up and down to go from a video or a photo to another. If you press the button on top, on the upper left corner just right here, you will be able to see more of them at the same time. Now let's jump into the main menu, which you can find by swiping down from the very top of the screen. This guy over here is to record a preset. So if you go into a video mode, you choose your frame rate, your resolution, you choose to have a manual setting for the white balance or those kind of things. If you want to record that, to have access to it quickly later, you press on that guy. So actually I'm in video mode. I've got this. Let's say that this is a preset, 2.7K, 30 frames per second, horizon steady. So swipe down, press the little guy here, and I just hit plus, and it will record that settings. Once it's done, you will find it by swiping on the left. You've got here custom 1, custom 2. I can have custom 3, 4, and so on. Then you can also assign it to the quick switch button. This one just right here, the quick switch button. If I press it, you see, well, I did choose to have here C1, C2, that they are the only one that I selected. I did not select photo, video, and all of those. I just want to have those two. So if I press it, you see, it brings me to C1, and if I press it again, it will bring me to C2. Actually, I need to press to make the menu show, and then press again to switch to the next one sometime. Okay, anyway, so that's the time-lapse. So yeah, okay, so that was the quick switch button. And then the third one is the brightness of the screen. I like to let it at 100 because it makes the screen more easy to see. But if you are on a project where you need to have a longer battery life, you can take it down. The other one here is the settings, but we will come back to this one later. Then we've got the orientation lock. So like that, I can swap on that side, and I don't like it. The thing is, if you want to film like on the phone, you can turn the camera just like that, hit record, and it will record that way. I don't want that, so I just leave it like that. You also got the lock screen just right here. If you press it, it just means that if you touch the screen, it doesn't do anything. You have to swipe up to unlock it. Just like that. By the way, the screen, when you can play on the screen on this side, you cannot play with the screen on the other side. It will ask you to unlock it, just like that. The front screen doesn't go as well as the back screen. And now I've got access to the very same thing on the front. And now if I go back here, this one is locked, so I need to unlock it. Other option, voice control. If you enable it, you can say take photo. I said take photo, and it take a photo. You can also say start recording, and you can also say stop recording. Those kind of things. But there is one very important thing to know, is that when you enable it for the first time, it will be by default in Chinese. It only works in 2 languages, and you can edit it by coming into the menu over here inside voice control, and you choose here English instead of Chinese, and the voice comments are only those 4. And that's it. Other things we can have is that one. Okay, what is this one? You see, the screen on the front is squared. So this one is in 16:9, and this one is probably in 4:3. In this mode, we can see the whole picture when you're recording in 16:9, and in this mode, you will see it will use all of the screen. But the thing is, you see, now at this distance, I can see the whole lens of the camera, but we lose the side. The image continue a bit further away. So if I use that one at the same distance, you see that part is the one that was lost. So I prefer to use that one, but by default, it's like that. Then let's dive into those settings. What do we have over here? The snapshot here. Remember, when I start the video, I just hit the record button, it power on the camera, and it starts recording a video. This is because the snapshot over here is in video mode. So I can change it to HDR video, or I can change also to hyper-lapse. What else do we have into settings? Oh, this one, what is it? Oh yeah, you remember when I set the screen lock? Well, when this option is enabled, when the screen is locked, the screen is turned off. Voice control, we already see it. Scuba diving mode, I don't really understand it. I think it disabled the touchscreen when you reach some deepness, but what it does is that you can start recording with that one, but once it starts, you need to press that one to stop the recording. I don't really understand why you would want that, but I don't do scuba diving, so maybe that's why. Video compression, that one is interesting. By default, it's in H.264. H.264 is surely the most compatible codec you can find. It compresses well, it creates small file size, well, not as much as what we will see later, but it does do that, and it's compatible with everything. Then you've got the HEVC, that is H.265, so it's the new generation of H.264. It creates smaller file size, but it's a bit harder to read. It takes a bit more processing power and is not compatible with everything because it's newer. But I do my video editing with that codec and everything goes very well. I love that codec, so that's one of the first things that I do switch. I put it into HEVC. Then what do we have? Sounds, that's what I was talking about earlier. You can choose the volume of what you will hear. Sometimes you might want to have it at high. Maybe if you are doing a sport, you have it on your helmet and you shout, take video, start recording. You will want to hear that beep to make sure that the camera understand you. Maybe you will want to set it on high. And if you film something in a quiet environment, maybe you will want to set it to mute. So that one is up to you. So we've got sound, a grid. You can add a grid if you'd like that. You see that grid. You have some kind of grid that you can add over your image. Let's set it back to known. We've got the anti-flicker. I always leave it on auto. I think it does a great job, even if it's not perfect. You got a time code. I never try it, but if you want to synchronize many camera with the same time code, it is possible to do it over here. That will just make it easier when you will edit your video if you are on a multicam project. Instead of synchronize it with a clap, you just synchronize it with the time code. You've got the screen off delay when you start recording. And set it as you want, but this one can also be edited if I'm not wrong. Let's put it to 3 seconds. If I start recording something and then it turn off, I can press, it will turn back on, but after 3 seconds it will turn off. But if I swipe my fingers, yeah, just like that, I can change that settings while filming. Next settings. Naming management is if you want to change the folder name or the file name, you can do that over here. Screen off when recording, yeah, we just see it. Auto power off, so if I'm not using the camera for 5 minutes, it will auto power off. Then you've got the LED, that is great. When you do record something, by default, there is one red or green light, I'm not sure, that turn on here, and you've got another one on front somewhere over there inside the screen. And the thing is with that is that sometimes you've got it into a reflection into a window or a mirror or something like that, and you don't want this, so that's why I just set it to off, and I never have that kind of bad surprise later. If I start filming, for example, a time lapse by a window, because I don't have the choice to film it from that side of the window, and then the sunset arrive, and then I start seeing a blinking red light into my time lapse, and it just ruined everything. So that's why I always leave it to off. Horizon calibration, that one. Well, the camera have a feature. You see earlier I was in a horizon steady mode. This is because I can turn the camera as much as I want, but it will be always level. I can start the video just like that, swap it like that, put it like that, and it will always be level. But if the level is no longer good, you may need to recalibrate it, and you can do it just over here. Live stream, you need the DJI Mimo app, but I never use it. You can stream on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, those kind of things. You can change the language of the camera over here, the date and time. You can format your SD card, factory reset it, got the info of your device over here, and finally the compliance info that we don't care. Actually, I don't. Is there something else interesting? You've got a zoom over here. Tap and hold to adjust the zoom, but seriously, don't use the zoom. It's not a real zoom. It's a digital zoom. Just zoom in post-prod. So, I think it does the tour for that tutorial. I hope it was helpful. If you have questions, do not hesitate to ask. And in a few seconds, you will have a playlist on which I did a mini tutorial about that camera that might be helpful for you. So, I hope it was helpful. Take care and see you soon. See ya.